Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Finally, as I posted, I've been out sick. Have had the flu for about a week and a half now, and I'm just finally about about done with it. I still have a little bit of a cough, but it's it comes and goes. Not definitely not as bad as before. But yeah, it's been a while. Hope everyone's been doing pretty good. Hope life is treating you well. So I'm finally happy to be able to try to power through and, hopefully not cough one too many times. Maybe I'll clear my throat. So this one, we're kind of resuming where we left off. I believe the last video uploaded was the Hot Toys Flash. And so it just made sense to do one for this one, which is the modern suit Batman from the same Flash movie. I've had this figure pretty much when it came out. I think it arrived January 1st. I did an unboxing video when I got it, but nothing really too in depth. The pose you see here is the pose I've had him since the figure came out. The reason for that is Michael Keaton is my favorite live action Batman. I used to own the Hot Toys Batman 1989. I sold that off actually just recently. I think in like August when I thought I was leaving the collecting scene. But I know another version came out in the 1989 one, the one that comes with the gargoyle. But seeing as I've had, I figured it was time for a change up, so I held off on that one. And then I didn't think I was gonna get another Keaton Batman, but when I saw this one release, I could not say no. I thought the head sculpt was really good, and the suit was really good, and I actually liked how he played his character in the movie. And yeah, I decided I couldn't miss out on this one. Um, Typically, I don't like to display my figures with a head sculpt, the portrait, the actor portrait. But yeah, I couldn't. I thought the Michael Keaton head sculpt was way too good. Although, since I will be reposing this one, I will be changing him out and finally displaying him with a cowl on. And I know it doesn't make quite sense that he has a logo on his chest and on the cowl, but I don't know. I I kind of liked how that looked. I didn't want to remove the logo from the chest, so we'll be changing it up. I will not be leaving it in this pose. Um, so as always, we will be looking at the box, see what it comes with, and then we will be reposing the figure finally. And yeah, excited to do this one. As I mentioned, Keaton is my favorite Batman, so been waiting a while to do this. It's just right when I was about to do this video, I got sick. So that's just how life goes sometimes. And yeah, let's go ahead and turn on the light. Get a better view of I'm Batman. So yeah, let's here's a closer look at Michael Keaton. As I said, this is one of the really better head sculpts I've seen from Hot Toys. Um, they did a phenomenal job with this one, all the wrinkling and all that stuff. When I do repose them, I'll remove the head, and so that way I can show a closer view of how the head sculpt looks. But yeah, let's go ahead and move this one to the back so we can take a closer look at the box. open the box, see what it comes with, and decide how we're going to pose them. All right, so what we got here is the box, and it's a really nice looking box. I love the photo of Keaton's Batman right there. I love the yellow and the black, the lightning from the Flash, and I know, I think, as I mentioned it in the Flash review, I know this wasn't everyone's favorite movie, but I happen to have liked this film a lot. Uh, I know I'm probably in the minority, but that's okay. Uh, I thought, the film was pretty fun. And from that line, the Flash movie, I'm only missing um, the Ben Affleck Batman, which the figure actually doesn't look like Ben Affleck because I don't think they had the license for it. And Supergirl. I haven't decided if I'm gonna pick up either one of those, but I'm pretty happy with the Flash and the Keaton Batman back there. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what we got. First things first, one of the things that this figure comes with is this other cape. And the difference between this cape and the one he has on, the other one just drapes down. These actually have rods on the sides of it, so that way they can articulate and open up, and so you can change the poses to make a more dynamic looking thing. The reason I'm not really a huge fan of using the dynamic ones because this is the clamp that they give you, and this is the waist clamp, and the texture of the suit isn't very good for something like this. The clamping force is pretty hefty, and it might lead to warping of the suit, so which is unfortunate. And I know, I could just take out the thing and put a crotch grabber on there, but then it'll take away from, another figure that could use a crotch grabber. So it's not really an ideal situation. I'm not a huge fan of mixing and matching accessories. Um, and then this is the accessories it comes with: that batarang, shuriken, a couple of gadgets, and eye moving, a couple of remotes, grappling, and all that stuff. The shuriken is a classic. That's what he used in '89. But I'll probably be posing him with one of the fat batarangs. Okay, we're gonna leave that on there. All right. Well, sorry about that little mishap. There's actually one piece I can't find, so I'll hope it turns out here in my work area. I'm sure it will. Looking at the accessories, though, I don't think it's one I'm going to be using right now, but it is annoying. But I will find it. I don't like having incomplete figures, so no big deal for now. So here's everything else that this figure comes with. This here is actually a stand for the cowl. So let's go ahead and pull that out right now. See, this is something you can display it with. So pretty cool. Um, I don't know if I'll display it like that on its own. Um, but it is pretty neat. That's something they give you. Go ahead and put this. And then This is the cowl the head sculpt with it. These face plates are removable. And then you kind of have limited hands. You have two fisted hands and a couple gripping ones, so you only have 6 hands total. It's kind of unfortunate. And then you have 2 additional face sculpts. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this, change out the head and get him displayed as the Batman. All right, so now we have Michael Keaton wearing the cowl. So that is how the figure looks with the cowl on and him dressed up as Batman. So a couple of things to point out. This is actually accurate to the movie, so you can't articulate the head. So you can't turn it, and if I remember correctly, that was actually by request by Michael Keaton. They wanted to make him a suit where he could turn his head, and I think he made the request saying, no, keep it true to the way it was in 1989, as he said that was part of the role. That's how he'd always play the role, and that's what he was used to, so that's how he preferred it. Which is, pretty cool. And it is kind of, I don't know, kind of iconic. He never turned his head in the movie. It was just, he would shift around like that. And, it's part of the charm of his portrayal of Batman. So I have no problem with that. And that's not something I can take away from, I can't take it away from the figure saying, I can't really, it's hard to pose him, but because that's how it is accurate to the film. So, and then this chest piece is actually Velcro. So one thing to point out, that's not something you're going to want to take off repeatedly, as you don't want to wear out the Velcro. And which is, one of the reasons why I'll be saving this for a different video, articulating him with this cape. It is cool to pose him that way. It's just my cabinet. I can't really pose it in a way where it's fully open, as it'll take up too much space. And I do prefer a drape cape. So, but I'll post shorts of him using the cape, but I do want to try to avoid taking the Velcro chest piece on and off. I don't want to wear out the Velcro. As far as the faceplate, which let's go ahead and take a closer look at this head sculpt while we're at it. Hopefully the camera cooperates with me. Focus. Doesn't want to cooperate. But hopefully you can see that. I actually articulated the eye to be looking sideways. But yeah, the head sculpt's really, really nice on this one. As far as the faceplate, I'm not sure if I want to change it. I like the grin he has. That's a grin he always carried with himself, even in the original films. There's one here with a little bit of teeth. But yeah, I think I'll be keeping him that way. I'll probably change out the hands to, although I'm not entirely sure. Uh, I think I kind of like want to pose him without any accessories and just give him a couple of fisted hands and put him in a fighting pose. But let's go ahead and see how that looks without any accessories on him. All right, so him with the two fisted hands. It is hard to articulate the suit a little bit. There's that kind of the material is hard to work with. Um, and again, it can't really turn the head, which is unfortunate but accurate. Um, but yeah, I don't think if you're getting this figure, it's not something that you're going to be using to play with, quote unquote, to pose in hyperdynamic poses unless you're doing the rotted cape. And with that, pretty much the pose you're going to do is either the wing spread or him holding it like a kind of like a shield. But there's not really, I don't know, you can do an action pose and with him holding an accessory, and it's a lot of the figure is going to be carried by the eyes, pretty much, with no head articulation. You're going to be relying on the eyes really to carry the posing of and here's the cape. As I said, it's really, it won't even fit in my box here. I'm gonna have to take it out of the box, but I'll do a short so we can exhibit how this articulated cape can be used for more dynamic poses. But for now, I'm gonna leave it with the drape cape. You know what? I'm gonna change out one hand into him holding a batarang, just so it's not gonna be so plain and boring. Probably do the right one. Yeah, I'll do the right one with a fat batarang. Okay, let's transition over to. All right. Well, there's So one thing I'll point out right now, the I don't think you get enough hands for this figure. The batarang hand is only in the left one, so, and then the right ones, they're meant for gripping something else. I don't really know the reason why they would give us such limited amount of hands, but maybe because it's not a DX, I guess. They don't want to take away from, the the Batman one, the one that comes with the gargoyle. Since they did remake the 1989 one. But it is unfortunate that you really get a limited number of hands. I feel like they should have given us a few more hands. Um, as you know, as since the figure's already hard to pose, since it's with the suit, the least they could have done is give us a few more hands to work with. Um, and then these things they're all Velcro. But yeah, maybe that way, or like I said, a lot of the heavy lifting of the head here will be done by the eyes. Um, so not much you can do. Maybe I did decide to put the clamp on. Um, I'll just have to remove it every now and then. I guess that's not too bad. Yeah, that's not too bad. But yeah. Anyway, um, unfortunately, since I am still getting over this cough, um, probably have to wrap it up already. Which is not a bad thing anyway. Here's the thing. As much as I love this figure and I love to look at it, I love who it represents. Fun wise, there's really not a lot there. The base is nice. It lights up, kind of like the Flash one, and it's yellow also. But I can't really even fault Hot Toys for that. That's the way they made the suit. That's it is what it is. A lot of the poses you're gonna get out of it, you really have to use the cape to make it dynamic. You need to use the cape, the eyes, and all that. I have seen some good poses on this online, but like I said, for you to use the cape, you're gonna need to, invest a lot of space towards this singular figure, which is not something I have the luxury of. As I do have, my space is fairly limited. The shelf it's gonna go on, it's gonna be right next to the Flash, and if I have the cape completely spread out, then that's gonna pretty much the whole shelf is gonna be taken up just by this figure, and that's not something I can do. So as far as the pose, this is pretty much the pose I'm gonna leave him in. Let's see. Let's put him on the turntable at least. He is on the clamp, so he's not gonna be falling anytime soon. Let's fold that down. Well, let's pause it. See if we can at least fix up the cape a little bit. The material of the cape is pretty. I dig it. I dig the way the cape looks. I'm not sure how I am in when it comes to the general masses, but I think it looks pretty accurate. But yeah, so as far as the look of the figure, it is movie accurate. I think the figure looks great. I don't like the Velcro stuff so much. I kind of feel like it could have been done better. The head sculpt is fantastic. The cowl and everything. But I'm not a fan of the Velcro stuff, I guess. So I think I'm only gonna give it an 8. Um, likeness wise, the way the suit looks and everything from far out, it looks great, but the Velcro kind of kills it for me. Um, Accessories wise, you get a good amount, and I actually think this figure is gonna be carried heavily by its accessories. You got the cape, the shurikens and batarangs and stuff. So I'm gonna give that one a 9. I don't really I don't really see any or recall anything from the movie that's missing that I feel like he should have had. I'm pretty happy with it. But for fun factor, like I said, I don't know. It's fun to look at. It's fun who it represents, but I don't think it's fun to work with this figure. Posing and all that. It's definitely one of those statue poses, museum poses kind of deal. Um, the way it looks it looks right now, it's pretty good, but yeah, I think fun factor, it's only gonna get a 7 out of for me. Now, do I recommend the figure? It really depends. I think if you like um, Michael Keaton, I think it's definitely a good figure to get. Um, if you one of the collectors that you need to like the movie, then that's between you and the movie. Um, but for me, I am Michael Keaton is my favorite, and maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll get the 1992 one, Batman Returns. But for now, I'm really happy with this one. Um, I want to say I'm pretty happy with the figure because the head sculpt of Michael Keaton's really good. It's the Velcro stuff that really kills it for me. But it's the suit does look movie accurate at least, and the cowl and everything. So if you like Michael Keaton, I do recommend it. If you like his Batman representation, I do recommend it. But as far as if you want to play around with it and give it in like posing and all that stuff, this is not the right figure for it. Like especially the suit, you don't want to damage it or anything like that. So I think overall, maybe I'll give the figure like a 7.8 out of 10. It sounds low. It probably is low, but that's me removing my Keaton fanboy out of the equation. So anyway, thank you once again for watching. I'll try to, hopefully I stay healthy and I'll try to get more videos out here. You know, um, it's funny, it's this review, and then we've been stuck on the same Lego set for a week and a half now, just because I've been sick and I've been resting. I haven't been able to build on it, and then we've been potty training our daughter, so we've been pretty busy. But that set is almost done, and I will be recording, the shorts on that to show off that Lego set, as we do have really big Lego sets coming in April that we will be building, and that will be featured on our channel just because it's a franchise my wife and I both love. So anyway, thanks again for watching, and as always, enjoy what you collect and collect what you enjoy, and I hope you guys have a great weekend.